back to the Awakening Chit Chat podcast, the space where we explore the tools, practices, and insights that help us live more consciously, more freely, and more fully. I'm your host, Aline Berder, and today we're diving into something fascinating and incredibly powerful that's been gaining traction in the holistic healing world. Access bars. Nothing to do with the gym. I've been wanting to say that joke for a long time since we decided to talk about access bar. um, but basically, if you've ever felt like your mind is overloaded, like your thoughts are constantly on a loop, or like you're holding on to beliefs that no longer serve you, this episode is for you. And I'm thrilled to have Natalie Turner with me today, a certified Access Bars practitioner and facilitator who's been working with clients around the world to help them release stress, limiting beliefs, and mental clutter through this unique modality. Welcome back, Natalie. How are you? It's so great to have you back on the podcast.
Hi, Aline. It's so good to be here. And I was thinking, it just feels like a childhood dream come true because we're talking about all the things I care about, all modalities, awakening, everything you talk about is what I care so deeply about. So I'm really
Yeah,
grateful that you have me on.
yeah. No, it's wonderful. And then we might also touch base on the law of attraction, manifestation, and yeah, we'll see how we go. But we have plenty to talk about, and we're just gonna go with the flow. But today we're gonna start with access bars, and I mean. Just the name, it's so mysterious. Like the first time I heard access bars, I was like, what is that? And and the only experience I've had so far with access bars is yeah, we did. I think I told you about that. When we had the studio with my sister, the Awakening Lab, we had a practitioner, an access bar practitioner. She was practicing in the studio. She had her clients coming and we did a photo shoot for her. So I had to lie down on the table and she was, pretending to do a session with for me.
Okay.
But that's it. That's all I had to do with Access Bar. But I'm really, really interested in knowing more. And I guess what we're gonna do is like yeah, pretend we don't know anything about it. And we're going to start with the basics. And for the listeners who are totally new to this, can you tell us in a few what exactly is access bars?
Yes, it's a very strange name, but it's a very simple, peaceful experience. Access bars is a gentle, hands-on technique that quiets the mind. It's kind of the long and short of it. But what we're doing is you're either lying on a massage table or one of those zero gravity chairs or on the floor on a couch, and the practitioner or facilitator is touching 32 different points on the head. And they say bars because it's like I'm touching these different points and they're kind of mirroring each other on each side. So it's like a bar going through your head. Like
Oh,
um, the
mystery solved.
there you
Okay.
go. That's what it is. So it's we're touching points, and what that does is dissipate the electromagnetic charge of your thoughts and your feelings, beliefs, because our thoughts and our feelings have a charge to them. And
Okay.
so much of what we carry is not ours.
Yeah.
I've read and heard from Dr. Joe Dispenza and other people in the metaphysical science field that around 95, 98% of our thoughts are not ours.
Mm.
And so if you think about that, you're choosing every day we're choosing. And if you are choosing from everything that's not you, what kind of life are you leading? You'd probably feel very anxious, depressed, disconnected. So what a session with access bars does, it creates more space, a feeling of neutrality. People often feel um, very relaxed, clear-minded. If they come in with an issue, they often, at the end of the session, they are thinking, I was worried about something, but I can't remember what it was. So it's a really powerful tool. And I'll also add that it can run anywhere from 60 to 90 minutes. It's for all ages. I have a 5.5-year-old, and I will often run his bars, and he asks for it now. And it's for him, I maybe do 5 minutes. Kids require less because they're much more open and relaxed than adults are. But it was a modality that was created by the founder of Access Consciousness, who is Gary Douglas, and
Okay.
he downloaded, just received this
Mm.
information about these 32 different points on the head. And what he later found out was that a lot of it correlates with like the Chinese medicine and like the meridian systems. So a lot of the
Yeah.
points are aligned with that. And each of the 32 points are connected to a particular subject, like money, joy, sadness, connection, communication, sex, all the things that we have a judgment or a polarity around.
Hmm. Hmm.
And what Access Bars does is just help clear the judgments, the thinking in black and white, and moving into a space of neutrality. Because who we truly are is our infinite beings, and we are neutral. And what is strange about Access Bars, I remember one of my first sessions, I felt so strange because I felt so empty. And it was empty in that I was just neutral. I didn't have any sort of charge or feeling, and it wasn't elation, it wasn't sadness. And that was uncomfortable because I'm always feeling something. And so it takes an adjustment, and everyone responds to it differently. But when you are in a neutral place, when you have a thought, it's really from your higher self. It's more true and it's authentic.
Yeah.
Um, so access bars it can do so much. And for me personally, it's helped a
Yeah.
lot with insomnia. I've always sucked at sleeping, could not relax, monkey mind,
Yeah.
waking up in the morning. I remember as a little girl, I would be up in the middle of the night wandering around the house. I've taken medication, meditation, anything I can think of, I've tried. And this is the
Hmm.
one thing that really helps me get into that deep sleep,
Yeah.
like no other. So, um,
Wow.
yeah, it's really powerful. Things like
Yeah.
suicidal ideation, I know is a common thing that maybe a lot of people don't talk about, but I've had
Hmm.
clients and I've read testimonials of people who came in feeling like they didn't want to be here anymore. And after like a 90-minute session of access bars, um, they didn't feel that. And I just wanted to
Wow.
share some
Wow.
statistics.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
so research was
Yes.
conducted in 2015 by a neuroscientist, Dr.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Fannin,
Yeah.
and he was examining the neurological effects of the access bars on 60 participants. So he was measuring brain waves on people before and after a bar session, and the
Yeah.
research revealed similar effects on brain coherence. So both
Yeah.
sides of your brain working
Hmm.
together. And
Yeah.
85% of the participants indicated an increase in coherence. And he discovered that access bars has a positive neurological effect on the recipient, similar to that experienced by advanced meditators. And
Wow.
it produces these results immediately. So the severity of anxiety symptoms were reduced by almost 85% on average, and the severity of depression symptoms were reduced by almost 83% on average.
Wow.
So it's
That's
really
insane.
significant.
It is.
Yeah, and
Wow. And
measurable too.
yeah, 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 which is great. And
Yeah,
I was wondering actually how it came into your life. Like, do you remember at what point in your life
yeah.
Axis Bar, yeah, arrived and
Yeah, I remember exactly. I've always been a big fan of Gwyneth Paltrow, and since I was,
she's great.
she's
Go
great.
Gwyneth.
Go Gwyneth, love her.
Yeah,
And I loved her as an
yeah.
actress first, and then I started following Goop back in
Oh, yeah.
2008 when that came out. So I've always read her newsletters. And in the spring of 22 was, I think, yeah, she posted, it was just like two sentences in her intro in this
Yes.
newsletter, and she was talking about trying her naturopath recommended this access bars session. And I'm like, access bars, that's interesting. And she said she felt so great afterwards and clear and relaxed. And I was in the middle of a really hard time in my life, in the
Mhm.
midst of a separation and
Yeah.
changing my home life and everything. So I was at a very low place and
Yes.
open to anything. So
Yeah.
I looked on the website and for this access bars, and I found a local practitioner, and I did a session, and
Yeah.
so
It was
that's how
love
I
at
found it.
first sight.
It
Sorry.
was, yeah, it was. It just felt so good and felt right. It felt so peaceful, and it was like a
Yes.
fast track to meditation because I have a hard time. At that time, I'm better now actually because of access bars, but I had a hard time just meditating and just sitting
Yeah.
quietly. So to have someone just gently touch your head for over an hour and to be held like that with in
Mm.
such a neutral way. Um,
Yeah.
and I was in a place where I was not in receiving mode with anyone or anything besides with my child, but access bars helps you receive more, helps you
Oh, wow.
just be in reception and open. And so that's what I got out of that first session.
Yeah, wow, that's incredible. That sounds amazing. I want one now.
You have to do it.
And
Find a
I want
practitioner.
to say, yeah, no, for sure, I have
Yeah.
to do, yeah, I have to do that. I've done like, yeah, different types of energy work. I had that done, and but yeah, I feel like, and especially right now, actually, there's a lot of tension around my, crown chakra, like this area,
Mhm.
the crane and everything. So I would definitely benefit in, yeah, having a session. And when did you know that you wanted to get certified, and what's the process? Like, what does it take to become a certified facilitator?
So, excuse me. I didn't get certified as a practitioner until like a year later. I just didn't really entertain the idea. So I think another practitioner mentioned it to me, and she's like, "And if you do that, if you get certified, then you can do trades with other practitioners."
Yeah.
And so, about a year later, after first trying it, I got certified. And so, to become a practitioner, you take an 8-hour class.
Okay.
And so once you have that, you are certified and you can practice and give sessions to others, family, friends,
Yeah.
and you can start a business, use it anywhere,
Yeah.
and you have that certification. By the third class, so 3 8-hour classes, you become a facilitator, so you can teach access bars. So that's what I did
Okay.
last year. I moved on to the facilitator position, and I love it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw that the other day you went to I don't know, I call that an expo, but I don't know what it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
exactly to
Mhm.
talk, yeah, an expo
Yeah.
to talk about Access Bar.
Yes. Yeah.
How was that?
It was good.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't know the impact of a choice until like, later on. So it can
Yes,
seem
yes,
like
yes.
nothing happened, but then something, who knows who saw it. We were set up with other vendors, and most of the vendors were around like food and jewelry and clothing. So I like to
Yeah.
go in spaces or expos like that where people aren't really looking for it.
Yeah.
They think they're not looking for it, not cognitively, but maybe energetically they're looking for it. So just to put it out there and know that there's another option. I love to do that, and I think we did
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
That's good. That's amazing. And just out of curiosity, like those 32 points, do you know the meaning like of that number? Is it, sometimes it's like a sacred number or whatever, or is it related to anything like that?
I don't
Or
think
not
so. I've
really?
never
No.
heard that.
Okay.
Yeah, I know Access Consciousness, they do use numbers and have
Yeah.
yeah, but I've never heard 32. Have you heard anything
Okay.
about that number?
No, 32. No, so that's why I was like, oh, hang on. And I didn't check actually. And now
Yeah.
I'm thinking, oh, is it related to anything in particular? Because we say that we have, well, 108 chakras, even more, but like, and meridians, I'm not even sure how many, because depending in Ayurveda, there's so many points. And so I was wondering maybe 32 is like something linked to a sacred, number or
Yeah.
but we can check it out
Yeah.
actually.
I have to look that up.
And so basically, yeah, you would tune in into the person. They come to you, you have a chat with them. They
Mhm.
tell you a little bit of what about what's going on in their life, I assume.
Yeah.
And then you intuitively tune in to the points that you feel need adjustment, or how do you go with your client? What's your, version of access bars? Like, yes.
I try to say as little as possible, because I don't want my experience to influence them. I really want it to be a pure experience for them.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
just ask them, what's if there's anything that's on your mind, like you can tell me. If not, you don't have to, but just bring it up so it can be cleared out
Yeah.
and there can be a
Yeah.
dissipation of a charge. Um,
Yeah.
I walk them through the practical steps. Really, like I do an energy pull to get the energy flowing. And I'm touching the third eye and the occiput, touching the feet. I have my internal process where I am connecting with my angels, my guides, and ask for them to contribute to the
Mm.
session.
Yeah.
Um, and I try not to think. I just try to be there,
Yeah, yeah, no, no, of course.
Um, and sometimes it really varies. Some people they want to talk, and
Yeah.
some people have gotten really emotional and as a release. Other people go into this meditative state where they're kind of like half awake, half asleep. That's
Mm.
most frequent. And
Yeah.
that's really good to just
Yeah.
receive and be. And I'm getting something out of it too. Like it's very
Yeah.
much like I see it as like the infinity
Mm.
symbol. We're both receiving,
Yeah.
and and then I sometimes I'll notice things like I had one client who I didn't know this, but she had cancer, and it was in remission. But I had been getting this pain in I think my left breast, and she later told
Mm.
me that's where she had cancer. And so sometimes like little things like that I'll pick up on.
Yeah.
I'll get like numbness or like tingling. A
Mm.
lot of times people say they get buzzing in like the crown chakra, like buzzing
Yeah.
is a big one.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
but
Wow.
it's really I try to stay out of it and just let them experience what they're experiencing and give
Yeah.
them questions. That's the other part of access consciousness is what intrigued me is they encourage you to live in the question because
Yes.
um, other most of the time we want to be right and we want to and we live in conclusion and that's
Yeah.
just it's like going through the world with horse blinders. So
Yes. So it's helping to open up the mind and look
yeah,
at things. Yeah.
yes, and tap
Okay.
into the infinite possibilities that are
Mm-hmm.
here.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
so the combination of access bars, having a session, and then at the end of the session, I will, if they seem open to it, I'll offer up questions or I follow up with a text the next day and give them some questions of empowerment, like, um,
Mm.
what else is possible now?
Mm. Yeah.
What's right about this that I'm not getting? How does it get any better than this? Um, Asking a powerful tool that people love to use um, is this light or heavy? And if it's light, it's true. If it's heavy, it's a lie. So
Mm-hmm.
using your body, whether you're choosing breakfast or you're choosing a new home, how does it feel? Does it feel expansive and open? Or
Mm.
when you think about it, do you feel constricted? So
Mm-hmm.
staying in the question is something I
Yeah.
really is a big part of
Yeah.
getting the most out of an access bar session because um, it's it's not it's like working out. You don't work out for one day and then you're set for life. You have to keep so
You keep, yeah.
you keep going to the gym and another question people ask like how often should you get your bars run as they say
Yeah.
and I mean, if you could get them run every day, that would be amazing. But when you start to feel kind of like heavy or anxious and monkey mind, you feel constricted, feel kind of like weird. Just
Yeah.
um, I say get your bars run. It's time for a
So,
clearing.
would you say you can run it like you can run your bars by yourself, like Reiki a little bit? Would you do it yourself on
Um,
yourself?
I that's some I can do like there's a certain spot we call it the implant band right behind the ear.
Yeah,
I will do that. And what
yeah,
I've been told by the teachers of Access that it
mm,
definitely can work, like just laying in bed and
yeah.
holding on. Once in a while I do that.
Okay, just behind the
Yep,
ears
just
here,
behind
on
the
the
ears,
yeah,
using these
uh,
three fingers.
yeah,
There's kind of like a ridge or like a bump
yeah,
here. It's kind of just right
yep,
on that.
yeah. Okay,
So,
all right.
um,
I'll try.
so it's really powerful. And another thing that I find that can show up is how your body reacts. Like I did it on a session with my mom, and she's a singer, and she was having issues with her throat. And she said she felt just like this melting in her throat, this dissolving, and her singing got a lot better. My
Wow.
dad has arthritis, and it helps with his joint pain, and because our
Oh,
thoughts and our body are connected,
yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah, it's
right?
one. It's just, yeah, yeah,
They're all
it's one
one.
big thing. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. So if you are dissipating that charge, um, if there's a connection, if there's a particular belief or assumption that's connected to that area of your body, it's
Yeah.
going to get better.
Yeah.
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 What would you say shifted the most for you in your life thanks to access bars? Like, is there a particular area, or
Um,
it's been just like an overall
yeah,
um
it's like
yeah,
everything. I think
improvement?
being able to be with myself without
Yeah.
judgment, like not
Oh wow,
judging
that's a
myself.
big one.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not there all the way. I'm no ascended master or anything, but like I I can catch myself quicker when I am in judgment. I'm
Oh, that's
more
good.
curious about myself, and I can just
Yeah.
be with people and
Yeah.
not take on their stuff. Or when I start to, I can say, okay, who does this belong to? Who am I picking
Yeah.
up on? Is
Mm.
this
Yeah.
mine? So that helps relationships, right? Like that's really changed my relationships.
Mm.
My experiencing being able to experience intimacy for the
Yeah.
first time
Mm.
because I can be with myself
Yeah.
and not be in judgment of myself, and then I'm
Mm.
not projecting that onto someone else. So I mean, it's everything. It's your whole life.
Everything, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Is there a book that you would recommend if someone wants to? Because there's still people who like to read books, actually. So,
Really? I
yeah,
thought I was the
really.
only one. Yeah, I love the first book I read. There's so many books with access consciousness, and you can go onto their website,
Okay.
accessconsciousness.com. And
Yeah.
one of the co-creators of Access Consciousness, Dr. Dane here, he wrote a book maybe 15 years ago called Being You, Changing the World. And that's a remarkable book and a lot of tools in there, great questions to ask yourself. So I would recommend Being You, Changing the World. And you can get
All
it
right.
anywhere. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, we'll put that in the description of the episode so that people can check it out, the website, both the website and the book. And yeah, I think all these modalities are so fascinating. And it's like incredible how um, the like what consciousness is remains such a mystery as well. And at the same time, I feel like we can definitely explore it further with these different techniques, and you see what it does. Like it's yeah, I think that for some people who might be skeptics, the only way to figure it out is to try for yourself and see,
Right.
because there's nothing like an experience through the body to actually make you shift, and
Yes.
to actually maybe be open to the possibility that what we see is not just what's there, and that you know, there's another
Yeah.
field.
Totally. And our
Yeah.
bodies are so aware, and we are such aware beings and have so much awareness. But our program mind can really block that and get in the
Yeah.
way. And
Yeah.
I think this this modality in particular is just um, it reconnects it brings you back to your knowing that you are connected to everything,
Hmm.
and it it clears that feeling of separation, and like there's something wrong with you. I think people go
Yes.
around feeling like there's always something to fix or there's something wrong with you, rather than we're
Mm.
just ever evolving, ever aware, and we get these new awarenesses of different things and people and areas of our life, but there's nothing to fix. And that was a
Yes.
big shift for me. And
Yeah.
so that is I think if there's any tool that's making you feel like there's something you need to fix, run in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
You know? Like, don't go there. That's not for you.
No,
You're an
that's so true.
infinite being, and you're
Yeah.
here having this really bizarre human experience, but we're here, and I believe
We're here.
we chose to be
Yeah.
here. And
Yeah. But
um
it's,
yeah.
yeah. It's so true that, I mean, we often, like light workers or people, on that journey of self-discovery, sometimes we can fall into that trap of wanting to be that perfect spiritual human being and constantly trying to fix things. And
Yeah.
I'm like guilty as charged. And the
Mhm.
other day I heard, it was so funny, like it was about that topic of like doing, trying, new things, and at some point like almost burning out in your on your journey of like, healing. And and that person said, I think it was a coach, and she said, hey girl, have a break and go get an ice cream. Like really, just
Yeah,
at some point you have to give
totally.
yourself a break
Yep.
and not overload yourself with too many things and trying too hard. And I'm saying that, but at the same time, obviously, once you are aware and once you're like on that path, there's something almost like not forcing you, but there is something pushing you towards those modalities. See how you described that access bars came into your life at that point where a lot of things were like crashing, and it's like in those moments that these techniques come to us, or books or whatever. So it's kind of normal. It's part of the journey to
Yeah.
try them on, to experiment, and but at the same time be mindful to not fall, yeah, in that trap of something's wrong with me, I need to fix myself. And yeah, I
Yeah.
found that, yeah, it can be sometimes we put so much pressure on ourselves.
Do.
So yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah,
I was just
I think when you are in awareness and you're staying awake and
yeah,
conscious,
yeah,
um, and you're not arguing with the present, like for me it was like this is, the end of this chapter of my life. It
yeah,
does it feels very heavy, and it has for a long time, and I'm not going to argue with that anymore. This is what it is. And then what happens is stuff starts to drop in, like empowering, nurturing tools or teachers, relationships, like they come in when
yeah,
you are being honest with yourself and
hmm,
willing to let go of what's hurting
yeah,
you, what's
yeah,
keeping you down.
yeah,
Um,
for sure.
yeah.
Mm. Yeah. And yeah, speaking of that, um learning and self discovery and being in that awareness, when did you first hear about the those law of attraction or vibration or manifestation? Because that's also a huge
Yeah.
tool, I guess,
Mhm.
when you start realizing that we are co-creators. It's almost like it's both a burden and a blessing, because
Yeah.
all of a sudden, you're like, oh shit, I'm responsible for all that stuff.
Yes,
And
totally.
then you realize, but hang on, that's kind of amazing. It means that I can recreate, I can,
Yeah.
undo and yeah, and co-create in a better way. So
Mm.
yeah, when did you start using that? And When,
Yeah, I think the very going way back was like 2005 in college. I saw the what is it called? The Secret? Was something with
yeah, yeah, The Secret, yeah, Rhonda.
really
I think she's Australian
yeah,
actually. Isn't she?
Rhonda
She's,
Byrne or
yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
So I saw that and that was very intriguing. And I mean, the one gift with that for me was there was a section where it's talking about like this woman who had cancer and like how she chose to like watch funny movies and like how important laughter is and
Hmm,
joy.
hmm,
And that
hmm.
really resonated with me because I love to laugh and I love to be goofy and silly. And I think that's an important part of it. I just wanted to name that we think that we have to like figure things out and be like the surgeon figuring things
Yeah,
out with our thoughts. But if we could figure things out with our thoughts, we would have figured it out already. So
yeah,
you know, you so you can't really rely on our thinking in that way.
yeah,
But like just focusing first on being on how I'm being present and not
yeah,
wishing you were somewhere else. So
yeah,
that was the first thing. And then I studied under Bob Proctor. He's a
yeah.
past now, but a teacher, and he introduced me to like Neville Goddard, who based like the law of assumption is kind of based on his teachings, and many um, other teachers, Genevieve Barrand, um,
Yeah.
and there's this other one. She's amazing. She's a wonderful writer. Um, I I will it'll come to me. But so
It's not Louise Hay. No.
no, nope.
Okay.
She's from like the early 1900s,
Okay.
American writer.
Okay.
Oh, Frances Scoville Shin.
Okay.
She's has amazing writing and work. So I
Yeah.
was introduced to them like a couple of years ago, and then and I loved it, and I love the idea
Mm.
of like oh yeah, like you said, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, this is all my fault, and oh cool, it's all me, so I can change it, you know.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it is like once you get over that, like fuck,
Yeah.
I did this.
Then it's fine.
Then it's fine. So I yeah, that was a few years ago. And you know, it's like sometimes it takes a few times to like process something. So it was there and I was like, I like it, but I didn't quite know how to integrate it, but
Yeah.
it made sense. And then I really have come back to it in the last year, probably. And I think what it is like just knowing if you have a desire, it's not random. Like I don't want to be an accountant or an attorney, you know, so I'm
Mm.
not thinking about that. But I do have other things or other ideas or desires. And I think it was coming to terms with they are there for a reason
Yeah.
and to embrace it. And for me, visualization is a big thing. It's not for everyone. I don't,
No. Yeah.
but like with Neville Goddard, he was also really, that's why I liked him because he talked a lot about going into your imagination and I studied acting, so it has felt like character development or studying a play,
Yeah.
like getting into that character, and that's really
Definitely.
it's so fun. Like for me, it I don't feel stressed by it. It feels very light and fun.
Yeah.
So I've been playing with that more and just like want when I want something or I feel that urge for something, I just go there. I try to go
Yeah.
there instead of complaining about not having it or getting anxious about not having it.
Yeah.
And then on I don't know the quantum mechanics behind it, but
Yeah.
say that
Gosh.
we are there, everything is only happening right now. So if you go
Yes.
to that place
Yeah.
internally, it's done, it's happening,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then it starts to form in the 3D. And
Yeah,
yeah,
it's insane. And for those who are not familiar with those laws of, yeah, assumption, there's different terms like as law of assumption, manifestation, vibration.
yeah,
Uh, what's the other one?
law of
But
attraction.
attraction,
Yeah,
and I think it's been debated like about the term, what term is best to use, and but I guess it's a combination of everything. Like it is
yeah,
a vibration, it is attracting in terms of like you're a magnet, and so it's the
yes.
universe echoes back. So I think they all have a valid point, like each term. has kind of like a purpose. And maybe we need to come up with one
Yeah,
expression that combines everything. But
right.
it's basically all of that, and it's based on that principle that we are a vibrating instrument of the cosmos, and our thoughts are vibrations, and we emanate a certain energy and frequency, and the universe will echo back. And so, whatever you see and attract in your life is basically what you are. And so, if you want to change something in your reality, you shift what you are, what you vibrate,
Right.
and then you will see it transform. Like the echo will come back different.
Yeah.
So just to briefly explain what it is. But yeah, definitely Neville Goddard is amazing to talk about this. Then Wayne Dyer obviously was inspired as well by him. So his talks are amazing, and I feel that he explains it so well. Like Wayne Dyer, like when you listen to him, it's like he breaks it down very easily and make it kind of digestible and easily applicable in your life with
Yeah.
great examples and yeah and I guess it's a bit when you start diving into it and experimenting with it and the same like by all means like never believe what anyone is telling you, just experiment, try it.
Right.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and for those who might think, oh yeah, but I'm not good with visualization, sorry, it's not just about that as well. Like as you said, it's also being it and feeling it, and so you become the character, the person you want to be in the now, right now, and that will at some point materialize in your reality. So it's also a lot to do with the feelings and yeah, and often I wonder because you know how like this universe, this reality is like it's an infinite realm of possibilities, right? And it's like it's always that. Gosh, the bin truck is coming, and it's always for me like okay, so there's we kind of have a path and we talk about destiny, and I feel that sometimes we might feel like we are stuck in just that one direction. But to me, once I started digging into that, I was kind of understanding that we recreate and rewrite our destiny, so to speak. And um, but at the same time, I feel like there's certain things you might want to try to control and go into one direction. Life will take you back this way,
Yeah.
right? Because
Totally.
you are supposed to be experiencing this. So sometimes it's like,
Yeah.
okay, right, we can co-create, right, we can visualize and try to make things happen a certain way. But at the same time, and I think that's why we call it a co-creation, you're gonna have to surrender to whatever it want you to experience and
Yes.
right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is
What-
this interesting dance of like, we are just selecting kind of the different realities we want to experience and then
Yeah.
allowing that in. But then, yeah, there's also this kind of like blueprint. It feels like we came in with like,
Mm,
you will be, this is a
yeah.
lesson you chose to come in here to do. But
Yes.
I do think when you stay present and you stay as present as you humanly can, that when you're not fighting what's happening right now, your desires end up lining up with what you're
Mm,
supposed to be doing
yeah.
anyway. You know, so
Yeah.
it kind of
Yeah.
it kind of
Yeah. Yeah.
meshes in that way. And
For
uh,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think the big shift for me with the law of attraction, because I've had journeys with it, like Abraham Hicks was had a huge impact on me, and none of it's wrong. I think you're just growing.
Yeah.
But I had some confusion and like stress about like I have to feel at the certain vibration in order to get blah blah blah, and it's gonna be sort of another chore, like something that I have to
Yeah.
fix. But recently, there's a few teachers that resonated with me, and a shift was it's about what you are aware of. It's not about what you're feeling. It's okay to have a day where you feel sad or you feel like
Yeah.
heaviness or
Yeah.
anxious. It doesn't mean you're not getting what you desire. It's
No.
so when I'm feeling sad, I'm getting better at just saying, yeah, I really don't like that. It really bothers me and I'm sad about it. And
Mm,
then and I am aware that, and then I bring my attention back to what I know is true and what it
yes.
exists for me. So
Yeah.
that was a shift, is like you get what you are aware of, you don't get what you feel, because those feelings are ever changing. It's
Yeah.
not,
Yeah. Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
matter. So I think it's important to
Yeah.
say that, because people I think are
Yes.
turned off by the law of attraction manifestation, because they're like, well, I can't be up here all the time. Like that's
No,
not
of course you
going.
can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, you're right, definitely. And awareness changes everything. And as you said, like it's okay to feel those feelings and we all have those moments where we're not 100% and it's completely normal. It's part of being human and it's part of our conditioning and but the awareness will bring you back quicker and it will allow these feelings to be expressed and in some way released and that's what's going to make you attract
Yeah.
also quicker because
Totally.
yeah
Yeah.
it's that juggling act of like allowing whatever is happening to come through and to be expressed and to be felt and the more you do that, you'll see that the more you're gonna allow, yeah, what else you want to create to come through because you can't ignore that part. It's like saying, yeah, no, we are both dark and light. There's those two facets of our being, and in order to be like even more a co-creator and a powerful manifester, you have to see those facets of yourself and those feelings and emotions that are, yes, uncomfortable, but the quicker you accept them and allow them to be, and the quicker you will be able, yeah, to transform that reality and to make it shift.
Yes. Yeah. And
Yeah.
someone said too, thinking of like you're in your current reality and say you don't like it and it doesn't resonate anymore. Um, you don't have to try and change what is. You just have to acknowledge it, be aware that it's there, and then
Yeah.
select something else. So it's like if you're on a film set, there's different
Yeah.
sound stages, and it's like you've been in one movie, and instead of trying to change the set on that movie, you just go to a different sound stage and
Yeah.
create something new. And I kind of like that. So
I like that. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, that's really
because we can
cool.
kind of trip over ourselves trying to like force things and try to change people or circumstances, and
Yeah.
it's an inside job, right? It has to come from
It is.
within first, and then the outside reflects that.
Yeah.
It's what I
No,
see.
it is
Yeah.
for sure. What would you recommend to someone who's new to this and is like, obviously anyone who's listening right now, it's not a coincidence.
Yeah.
You were
No.
meant to hear about that.
Yes.
You are meant to dive deeper or to start exploring,
Hmm.
because it's life-changing. So imagine someone has never heard about the law of attraction and vibration but they want to try. They want to try something. What do you think they should start with? Like, what kind of tools or little routine they could start implementing to play with that law?
Yeah, I'm going back to the questions from that I learned with Access Consciousness, which is starting out asking when you're making choices, and no, first of all, acknowledging that everything is choice. We are all choosing. We're not forced to do things. There's not some like puppet master controlling. We truly have
No.
choice, and so you can always choose and choose again. And when
Yeah.
you're choosing to ask yourself, is this light or heavy? If it's light,
Mm.
that's true. If it's heavy, it's a lie. And Bashar is someone else I really enjoy, and he kind of talks about this too. But like following your excitement, like it could be just, oh, it sounds like a good idea to go to this grocery store, or this cereal sounds good this morning. And um, so start with being true to yourself by choosing what feels good, what feels light,
Mm-hmm.
because that
Yeah.
immediately puts you in a different kind of vibration.
Mm.
And um, I
Yeah.
think doing modality like access bars where you are coming back into your body and you don't have this carrying all this stuff that isn't yours. So asking
Mm,
yourself throughout the day when you start to feel like this anxiousness or a heaviness, ask, who does this belong to? You know,
yeah,
is this mine? And
yeah,
um and then the follow up to that is something they say is return to sender with consciousness attached. And you're sending it back and you're acknowledging that this stuff, this heaviness is not mine. I'm an infinite being. I am full of, I am love. I am light.
yeah,
I am all that I am. So what would another question they ask is, would an infinite being choose this?
yes,
So coming back, I think, to your awareness that you are the I am, you are connected to everything, and that you get to feel good, and
yeah,
you're in control of that. So those questions,
yes,
access bar session to speed up that process of connecting to yourself and everything else, I think it's a good place to start.
yeah, definitely. And the other day I was thinking, sorry, I'm just plugging in my charger. Um, I was thinking about what makes me what puts me the quickest in that state of, feeling the feelings now of what it is that I want to attract or
Wow.
who I want to be, etc. And what I do is, so I play tricks with my mind, and I also say that to my clients. I'm like, what if I told you that in 2 weeks' time you are going to have that dream job that you want? Like, for sure, it is yours in 2 weeks' time. How do you feel? And I think that
Mm.
doing that, or like, what if I tell you that on, like, what are we, June 24th, that on July 28th you're gonna meet your soulmate? It's here, it's done. It's
Yeah.
it's a sure thing. You're gonna meet them. They are here, they're waiting for you, and it's gonna be on the 28th of July. What do you think you will be starting doing? You're gonna start maybe going more to the gym, or being, careful of what you eat more,
Yeah.
like it's.
Oh,
Oh,
I love
anyway,
that.
for me, I know that it's something that I started a few years ago when I heard about that sentence, be the one. Like, start being the one you want to attract, or,
Hmm.
and be that person for yourself. And yeah, and so every time I feel like I'm a bit like low, like, yeah, I'm having those heavy emotions or feelings because things are maybe not here just yet, and I get impatient, and I reconnect to that, like, but what if it's here tomorrow? Like, just, go
Hmm.
back to that joy, to that feeling of what it would be like to have that thing right now. And sometimes, yeah, playing with a date and say, okay, in 2 weeks' time, I'm gonna be, in on I don't know, on stage doing a speech, because that's what I've been dreaming about. And it's like, all right, I seriously, the mind, it's so funny how you can trick it and how you can play with it. And
Yeah.
and as soon as you start believing something, I can assure you that, yeah, your body will align, and your
Yep.
the chemicals inside the body, like, the oxytocin levels will rise, the dopamine, endorphins, all of that. There's a chemical reaction linked to the feeling and the belief that you plant in your mind.
I
Um,
love that. That's so good because what I think of, the word that comes to mind is relief, right?
yeah,
So like
that's
you
it.
you get into that, if I know like this thing that I've been asking for, like, yep, it's coming in 2 weeks. How would you
Yeah.
feel? It's like you just feel relief. You wouldn't,
Ex-
you'd be excited, but
exact.
then you'd be like, ah, all right,
Yes,
you know?
exactly. No, it's so true.
Yeah. So if you are in
Release.
that state, I think relief is a word that's been coming up for me lately. And like when you are in relief, you're not in this like seeking
Yes.
mode,
Anxious.
anxious.
Yeah.
And then if
Mm.
you're not, if you're in relief and peace, you see possibilities where you didn't see them before,
Exactly.
which leads you to more things. And it's,
Exactly.
love
Because
that.
that's one of the key aspects as well of the law of, attraction, is to relax. It's like,
Mm.
it
Yes.
really is something that facilitates everything and that makes it happen quicker. It's like
Yeah.
just relax, just pretend it's already here. And as soon as we do that, something opens up. And as you said, we even other possibilities that we hadn't seen will come through. And
Yeah.
it's all about being at ease with what is
Yeah.
and allowing, the things to unfold naturally, knowing that it's already on its way, that it's already there somewhere. Because I also heard once, I love that. It's like that this creation is complete. It's
Yeah.
done. It
Yep.
has everything already. And knowing that, I found that it's amazing because it really, again, puts you in that relief and release mode of like, all right, so yeah, it is already there and it's one of the millions of possibilities out there. And so you can relax knowing that it is somewhere in that quantum field and I could not explain in depth what
Yeah.
it is, that quantum field, but it's almost like everything, every reality exists somewhere, like in another, dimension or
Mhm.
like parallel field. And if you
Absolutely.
tap into it, then you bring it into, your field. It's like,
Yes.
yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Because if it wasn't here, you just wouldn't even think about it. It's you're
Exactly
thinking
the
about it 'cause it's
fact that you,
already here.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I
mm,
want people to know too that like it's very normal to feel a lot of pushback when you are starting to integrate all this stuff because
yes,
that old programming that was there to protect you or whatever is
yeah,
screaming at you and saying, "What are you
yes,
doing? You can't relax. You have to be vigilant. You have to be
mm-hmm,
on top." And it's very normal to feel like maybe you're going crazy for a little bit and you're
yeah,
delusional or whatever. And I just want people to know that it's okay
true,
to feel that way. Um,
yeah,
and I'm going to share. It's a weird tool, so I hope you're open minded. But another
yes,
tool that I use is called the clearing statement, and I will send you a link so you can put it in the show notes.
yeah,
But basically, it's a statement that clears the energy of the thing because a lot of what we're dealing with, it's not verbal, it's not cognitive.
yeah,
It's nothing you can kind of talk therapy out. It's an energy and you can't name it. It's just this like weird funky thing that feels like it's kind of stuck. And so this clearing, which I'll say in just a second, is it's like each word and they sound kind of like gobbledygook meaningless words, but they're like acronyms and abbreviations for a
yeah,
particular meaning. And words have power, and the energy behind the words is what can shift things. So
yes,
it's like a spell, casting a spell. So it's called the clearing statement, and it's so. For example, I have a client who's struggling with money, and they can't get out of debt, or there's just this issue, and they're trying so hard, but it's like something's feels weird. There's just they can't get over a part of it. And so we say everything how you view money, how you feel about money, everything that is. And I asked him like how like let's talk about money and debt. Like what do you feel about money and abundance? Not saying anything. They just
mm,
feel you feel an energy, right? When you say
yeah,
money, most people feel an
yeah,
energy. Okay, so
yeah,
everything that is, then you ask, will you destroy and uncreate it? And then
wow,
you either say yes or no. And if it's yes, I say right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 100, shorts, boys, POVADs, bases, creations, and beyonds. And so what that does, it starts to dissolve that energy that you really can't name. And it's a
yeah,
really cool tool. It's really helped
it
me.
is,
And instead of like turning things over and over in my head, I'll say that and it kind of like creates space and you don't have to figure it out. It's just
yeah,
something.
I
So
love
I'll send
that.
you a link for that, but it's a fun.
Yes, please
Yep.
send me the sentence.
Yeah, I will.
I want to see it in writing.
It's a weird one, but it works.
Oh gosh. But it is so cool because it is about deprogramming our subconscious mind. That's where it all starts. And when we said before, the day you realize that you have co-created all of this. It is a
Mhm.
blessing. And some people might say, but hang on, like there's circumstances that have nothing to do with me. It's out of my control. And so they might feel like all these laws of assumptions and vibrations, that's not for them because they have those very specific heavy circumstances and that's something that they cannot change. And so, what would you say to someone who came to you and said, "Hey, Nat, well, yeah, I love what you're saying, but me, this and this happened, and that's how it is, and I don't think I can just change it with your magical sentence." What would you
Yeah.
say?
Well, I have had that conversation, and the word that was thrown at me was gaslighting. So it's triggering, you know. It can be triggering if you want to stay in a victim mentality, because
Yeah,
that is what it is, and it's what we're taught. So it's not from judgment. It's just that's what it creates in your life is you are a victim of your circumstances.
yeah.
And I would much rather affect my circumstances than be at the effect of my
Mm,
circumstances. So what I say to them about that, what did I say? Hold on. What I've been thinking about lately is I read Eckhart Tolle. I've been listening to him a lot, Power of Now.
mm.
And he
He
said
is good.
something so good. It never gets old. It's just
No, it
it's
doesn't. And he's so
timeless.
he is. He's timeless because his voice is consciousness and he's funny
Yeah.
as, and
I know. I
it's like
really
listening to music
It
to me.
is.
To
It
me, it is.
totally
Yeah.
is. That's
Yeah.
such a
Sorry.
great,
Yeah. Yeah.
great way to describe it. And he said something, I think it's in The Power of Now. What if you like moved through life or you acted like you chose everything or
Yeah.
some to that
Hmm?
effect? And like how would you how would life feel? Like just imagine like if you did choose this, like
Yeah.
in this moment. And most of the time I think people would say, well, then I would choose something else. It's like,
Yeah.
right. So do that. It's like, um,
Just do that.
you can, and it is again, you're bringing your awareness like, okay, I've been choosing this.
Yeah.
What am I aware of? I'd like to choose that. That
Yeah.
counts. That's bringing your
Yes.
awareness. It's not
Yes.
complicated. It is just like shining a light. I've been shining my light
Yeah.
on here. Now I'm shining
Yeah.
it here. So
Yes.
that's
Exactly.
yeah, I'd say.
Yeah, no, and so for some people who might say, yeah, but I don't remember choosing this, or it is true. There's a lot of things. It's like imagine yourself half asleep or under hypnosis, and those
Yeah.
choices were made in some kind of unconscious way due to your programming, your
Yep.
conditioning, and so it didn't feel necessarily that you chose them.
Right. Right.
But yeah, what happens is that if you start questioning that, if you start saying, yes, as you said, imagine that you actually chose, then the good news is you can recreate, you can unchoose, and you can choose differently. And you'll see that it's such an empowering thing to actually consider that, yes, we might have chosen things because it's almost like the soul comes onto earth with a set of cards, like in your hands, you have some cards, and even though you might say, well, no, if I had the possibility to choose my cards, I would not have chosen that. But the truth is, you come here to learn and experience certain
Yeah.
things, to heal certain wounds. So, yes, you did choose these cards. They might not be all pretty, but they're here to serve a purpose. And the quicker you realize this, the quicker you get out of that victim mode, and the quicker you regain your creative power. And yes, at some point, those were like unconscious choices, but they were made for a reason. And then
Yeah.
as soon as you become aware of that, then you can say, all right, so I came here to experience this and this and this, and I can choose the way I'm gonna react to those challenges and those lessons, and that makes it so much easier because we all in the same boat, like we all here to learn and grow and evolve,
Mhm.
and life will constantly throw at you challenges because that's what you're here for. But when you take it from a higher perspective and see it as a play, as a game, the game of life, then
Yeah.
all of a sudden you become, well, an active player versus an
Yeah.
unconscious player who feels like everything's going wrong in their life and they cannot do anything about it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so when you start seeing it from that perspective of you're in a video game, you're in Minecraft, call it
Yeah.
whatever, but it's like,
Yeah.
and you can build your reality the way you want to. And yes, it might be sometimes overwhelming, but it's so liberating at the same time to
Yeah.
realize that somehow your being has chosen those circumstances and lessons to make you evolve and grow and to liberate you. That's the ultimate
Right.
thing as
Right.
well
Yep.
to remember is that all of this is happening for you. You know, that's the
Yeah.
magic
Yep.
sentence. Life is
Right.
not happening to you, it's happening for you.
Yeah.
And it truly is. And it's here to ultimately liberate your being so that,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's beautiful. And when you
mm,
keep telling yourself that it's happening for me,
yeah,
that's what will be mirrored back. That's what you'll be proven time and again.
yeah,
And yeah,
mm,
I think what's confusing is people are like, but I wouldn't have chosen this
yeah,
horrible thing, but you were being the energy of the person who that would happen to is,
yes,
and
yeah,
and whether, you chose it on a soul level, which I really, I entertain that. I think that's really interesting concept. Or, but
yeah,
our family, it's all when
yes,
you're a child and in that kind of hypnotic state. But now, do you want to be awake? And it's great.
yes,
It's great because like
yes,
it's so empowering. You really can
yes, it
feel
is.
good. You can even challenges don't have to be horrible. You can have even
Yes.
ease with that. So,
Yeah,
um,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah. And also to give, like, be compassionate with yourself because
yeah,
those past experiences, they happen the way they happen because um, it was a certain state of consciousness
yeah,
linked to a certain vibration and frequency,
yeah,
as we said, and that's completely normal. Then that's what happened. Like it's all part of that big plan of your soul's journey. So there's nothing to blame yourself for. Like, oh, I should have done this. I should have done. No, no, you did what you had to do in that moment with your
yeah,
state of consciousness. So there's nothing to feel guilty about, ashamed of, or to resent. I know it's so much easier to say than to do.
yeah,
But if that helps anyone, yeah, to hear that, please, yeah, don't blame yourself or regret things because everything happened the way it was supposed to happen.
yeah.
So, yeah, there's
That's
nothing
beautiful.
to regret or to say, oh, I wish I had done that a different way. No, what matters is what you do now, like the choices that you are making now.
Yes,
That's, yeah,
and there only
yeah,
is now, right? Because
exactly.
even
That's, yeah,
There
as well.
that's all there is, and I think
Yeah.
that takes away the power of the past because people can get really stuck on replaying the past, and the past is really just a memory. A memory is just a picture, a
Yes,
moving picture
yes,
that you are
yes,
creating over and over again, and you
yes.
don't have to choose that. You don't.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
And yeah, that's something I keep on working on because the type of being that I am, I know it sounds super weird, but like I have a tendency, or I used to have a tendency of holding on to the past and having, yeah, those memories
yeah.
very much alive in the
Mm,
present moment, which then transforms your whole reality once again because it means that you are in that feeling you were in like 12 months ago, so you are reliving that anger or that disappointment or in the now, but it's a choice. Again, you are bringing it back into your reality, and when you realize that you can literally let it go and just focus on what's in front of you, it's so liberating and it's so efficient. It can work in an instant
yeah,
because it's yeah, it's a choice. And your reality is all made up of your thoughts and
Mhm.
feelings and emotions. So if you are constantly rehashing the past in or conversation or whatever, you're reliving it. It's like it's almost like it's there. Like it's
Yeah. And then your
yeah.
circumstances just you keep recreating it in
Yeah,
different
exactly.
people and
Yeah.
places. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Exactly. So for anyone who wants to experience with like recreating a new reality, the first thing is to be deeply anchored in the present moment
Mhm.
and at the same time making some like quantum jumps in that future reality that you
Yeah.
want, but almost like bringing it to the now. Like, okay, that's who I want to be. That's how I want to feel. So you start feeling it now. And some people might say, but I have no idea what it's like to feel successful or content or but I can assure you that your mind is a powerful imaginative tool. When you
Yes.
read a book, you haven't experienced what that person has experienced, and yet,
Oh,
right?
you
You
feel it.
feel you
Sorry,
feel those
my
feelings. So
alarm is going off. 1 second.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Um, yeah, that's something I with acting. I've There's this wonderful teacher, acting teacher I followed, and she talked about that. Like our imagination are so powerful, and we don't give it
Yeah.
ourselves enough credit. You just watch children, like they can
Mm-hmm.
go anywhere, and it's so
Yeah.
real, and we have that capacity still.
Yes.
Um, so that's why I really encourage doing activities, things that make you feel light and laugh. Like when you laugh,
Yeah.
it's like you open up your whole
Yes.
crown chakra and it just everything is so much easier to access. And
Completely. Yeah.
so I totally
Mm.
agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
one other book I want to recommend before we close out is it's
Yeah.
funny. It's called The Game of Life and How to Play It.
Ah,
And
I love that.
and it's by the author I mentioned, Frances Scoville Shin, and
Yeah.
that's her kind of magnum opus. It's an amazing book, and yeah, it's what if life is a game and we're in
It
control of it,
is.
you know?
It so is. Yeah. Oh, well, there's so much more to talk about,
I know,
obviously.
always is.
And we could go on
Yeah,
forever. And I mean, if we could even, yeah, have like specific episodes where we talk about relationships, for instance, or
yeah.
money, or,
Mhm.
like a specific topic. And if anyone has something in mind that they want us to talk about, like just send us a message. And because I think that, yeah, there's so much things that you can say about that and use those laws for a specific thing in your life that yeah I would be more than happy to go back to that topic and discuss that in like in further details but I think we overall we have a good idea of what it is and access bars I'll give all the details in the description so that people can contact you and book a session with you and experience that beautiful technique. I thank you so much again for coming on and sharing with us your experience and your wisdom. It's always a pleasure to have you. I love your energy and yeah, do you have anything else that you want to add or like, I don't know,
Oh,
anything?
well, thank you. First of all, I just got so much from you and what you had to say. I always feel a little more realigned and
Oh,
kind of organized internally after I
same,
talk to you. So I really
same.
appreciate you and your energy, Aline. I just want to clarify where I'm at. I'm in
Yes.
Minneapolis, Minnesota. So if anyone's in that area and listening to this, but if you don't live here, you can find an Access Bar practitioner all over the world. There's thousands of
Yeah.
them. So please don't hesitate to find one in your area. And
Yeah.
just know that you know more than you give yourself credit for, and that you do know what's best for you. And please make time to laugh and be in your
Yeah.
imagination. Be a kid every day for at
Yes.
least just a little bit. That's all. That's all you
Yes.
have to do. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, no, you're so right. Well, I know I will definitely book a session, an access bar session. And
Good. Let me know
yeah,
how it
and
goes.
I'll give it a try for sure. Um, Thank you again, Natalie. I wish you a wonderful evening, night, sweet
Yes.
dreams because it's late
Thank
for
you.
her. Well, not late,
Yes.
but like yeah,
Have a
evening.
and I hope you have a lovely day and
Thank you. I'm gonna go for a walk and on the beach
yeah.
and most likely a swim because it's a beautiful day. So now I'm gonna go in the ocean.
Nice. Well, we are
Uh,
all connected, so I am also going to go on a swim with you and
yes,
walk with you on the beach.
I will charge you with iodine.
Yay!
I love it. Thank you so
Oh,
much,
thank
Natalie.
you.
Bye.
Bye.